guarantee Impala was practicing here. With this much money on the line too, man, it only gets that much richer the further you go. But we'll be starting here on Small Haven. Let's see how things get rocking here.
We talked about an early deficit coming up possibly from Impala. Of course, that's all mental. It hasn't been in game just yet, but I want to talk about the Kaya pick really quick. Impala is the Kaya player. Only ever playing Kaya in professional play, Stingray likes to adjust around. Now, what we saw from Stingray going up against Viper was a lot of respect. Viper brought out that early Lucian, was able to go really toe-to-toe on small Enigma, brought out those blasters, early guitars, and Stingray was forced to dial it back. Now, Impala has a lot more spacing to work with here. We see the early ledge guard. Stingray, again, choosing to respect it, but the small blast zones for Small Haven, it allows Stingray to find that early recovery into a stock loss against Impala.
Yeah, that's definitely a huge start here, and we take those, let me tell you. But right now, it's about trying to get back on the board. Impala with that bow in hand, definitely a nice little bit of damage here. You can put a lot of pressure up there, going way up high, trying to find a way to even things up, and certainly just making that play there, you definitely put a little bit of a thought process in Stingray's mind that they are not safe wherever they go, but we are going to be able to even it up 2 stocks apiece. Let's go, Impala. Let's see what else you got.
Yeah, that bow's gonna be unbelievably strong now that Stingray's unarmed. Up until the lance comes back into fruition, I think Impala will have the advantage. Up close, a lot of chip damage, keeping Stingray into the air. Stingray hasn't really found a response yet. Chooses the reset, going towards the ledge, ensuring that maybe having a little bit more space to work with here. Impala choosing to respect that as well. Goes back in, finds a lot of nair potential. Keeping Stingray in the air is going to be the big benefit here until enough damage is applied where Impala can start bringing out that movement-based signatures that Kaya loves to have.
I mean, never mind the movement-based signatures, just the movement right now is pretty good. I don't know how they got through both of those. That's actually insane. Threading the needle, finding their way back to the stage. This is a little bit terrifying, but there's that bow, and they take the lead. Impala on the board here. This is going to be huge, 2-1 now, right? We're getting into the last stock scenario here for Stingray, and obviously momentum goes a long way in a best of 5.
Now remember, the last time these two faced against each other was back in February this year. Of course, Impala rocking the Kaya. It was Stingray, a completely different scenario, rocking the Zol. 2 different legends, 2 completely different weapons, but an even first game.
Oh man, dude, this is definitely going to be getting a little bit nerve-wracking as we get into the end here, right? You got a lead, you're able to take the lead from Stingray. Again, just to harp on it a little bit more, 100% win rate for Stingray between these two players, right? And now, do you have the nerves of steel, the resolve to be able to close this one out? Definitely a nice little combo there to get things started. I like that. The spear lands on its head. You're able to reclaim it as well, and you're keeping him off the stage here, but no, he finds a way back on. That's definitely a tough spot to be in. There's that signature you were talking about.
Yeah, the reeds are starting to come out from Impala now, looking preemptively to find it, and he most certainly does. Great game number 1 from Impala, and again, we talked about how this could be the beginning of a small underdog story between the two. Already, we look back in February, and even before that, way back in the beginning of 2022, this has been the first game that Impala's been able to win. I'm not talking sets, I'm talking games specifically against Stingray.
Crazy. I mean, a 3-0 record is already impressive enough, but not dropping a game for a hot minute too? Like, even if he's taken games before, I mean, that's whatever, but the fact that you haven't taken a game in that long, not a set, a game, that's so insane to me. But we're going right back to Small Haven here. Do you think this is the right play?
I think it is. I think it's good for both these players right now. I think the small blast zones are going to benefit that late game scenario where we have that stocked, the heavy damage being applied. That being said, though, Impala does have that big offstage advantage. Yes, the lance is there from Stingray, but a lot more setup is needed. And if Impala keeps rocking the bow, it's going to be so hard for Stingray to find that respect to get those setups and to really apply that lance. And again, Impala keeping Stingray in the air right now, trying to deny the weapon starve as well. The spear is picked up, and again, that recovery was the very first stock that Impala lost in game number 1. If Stingray can find that advantage again, this could be a Stingray game and tie it up.
Here we go, okay. Again, Impala doing a fantastic job of honestly just going for these onesies, twosies, but not committing to anything more, right? Just getting some nice damage racked up and closing out stocks like that. Impala looking good, looking clean, looking sharp, and I think that's going to go a long way here. Stingray now getting right into the second stock, immediately taking some damage, but there we go, the Rocket Lance back in hand, looking for a way to close out a stock on their own, and they find a way to connect, and we got an even game once again.
toe-to-toe. This isn't even a fight. This is a dance between the two players right now. They're respecting each other just enough to be able to go for punishes, find ways to evacuate outside of that very final strike that could end the stock. And right now the spot dodges go through. Impala finds the setup, sends Stingray back into the air. It's not enough though to send them to the top of the stage into the blast zone, but that's okay. Impala finds the recovery. The lance is now gone. Weapon Starve trying to find the neutral sig. It doesn't quite connect. And Stingray now on a big deficit on the ledge, trying to find the ledge guard. Impala misses. Stingray, this is his chance to strike back.
Okay, he actually dipped back, right, just trying to reset the neutral here, and then found another hit, but Impala, some way, somehow, continuing to put the pressure down and putting all the pressure on the Stingray, who's really kind of getting a little bit desperate here. You got to start making some big plays, maybe some things that you wouldn't normally go for. Now you got the spear in hand, you got a little bit of that faster frame data, but tossing it away immediately. Hope that doesn't come back to bite him. He does have the rocket lance, though, and we've seen what he can do and is capable of when he has this in hand.
Yeah, and so far Stingray's been a little afraid to go off stage, especially against that bow. We can most certainly see why. Impala has the setup, but no! Misses! He gets punished! That's the punish of a lifetime right there. Stingray may have just been given a miracle. Lance in hand, Impala now without a weapon does pick up the bow. That's good. We have yet to see a lot of Impala's spear. That being said, towards the end of Stingray's final stock, this could be 2-0. Stingray needs to make this offstage play work, but overextends, goes in deep, tries to bait out Impala, but no, they reset back to the ground.
Oh, dude, this could be so bad here. Oh, no! Stingray with the weapon toss here. Can he find a way back to stage? He gets the wall. Oh, my God, that's so huge. And, he's not going to be able to make it back. Oh, my goodness. A little bit of just flopping all over the place, and Impala is able to sneak away that game too. And my goodness, we thought that he potentially threw it all away there, and Stingray had that second chance at life to be able to take a game to even things up one apiece. But now we're at 2-0, and in Impala's favor, this could be the day.
And remember, this is not a best of 3. We're getting so far into BCX now. These are best of 5s. So yes, things are not looking good for Stingray right now, but it's not too late. We've seen reverse sweeps before in BCX, and we could most certainly see it again. Honestly, there's nothing wrong with either of these players right now. We said it was a dance. This is a tango between the two. It's a battle of wits. It's more of a mental game than it is what we see on the screen. Impala just has been able to narrowly edge out most of these stocks. Now, you mentioned it before, halfway through game 2, if we could see something a little wacky, maybe a little goofy come out, and I would like to see a legend swap, but we're actually not going to see that for game number 3. We're going to see that Orion stick one with Stingray once more.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I don't blame him for just kind of sticking it out here. He's not playing bad. I think there's definitely a couple of, blunders here from both players, right? But, overall, everything else is clean. I think Stingray's just having a little bit of trouble trying to pin Impala down. Impala is mobile, just moving around, staying as elusive as they can be, which you can only do so much when you got a huge rocket lance on the other side. But this bow has been coming in super clutch for them.
Now, historically speaking, Skip, we talked about before how this was an 0-6 going into BCX for Impala against Stingray. This is not only the best lead Impala's ever had over Sting, but this is the last time Impala got a win in general over Stingray was back in BCX 2020.
Oh my goodness, it's been 2 long years, but you know what? We are definitely out here and things are looking different. 2 long years, by the way, really makes a difference as we can see Impala trying to go off stage with the signature to try and catch Stingray, but Stingray being perseverant and being able to get back to stage, but not for too much longer as Impala takes another stock, even things up.
And no one of these players has been able to have a long-term advantage into this match. Smallhaven again, of course, returning, does allow these fast stocks to go down. This is a brute force match, just pummeling each other, looking for chip damage after chip damage. There's been very little signatures, and when they do, they find maximum impact. But offstage again, Impala on that deficit. Stingray now playing much more aggressive than we've seen in the last 2 matches. Impala's looking for the change, the reversal, looking for the reads, and unable to find a lot of them. Stingray, though, playing for the anti-air, has been able to find a little bit more damage than Impala, but again, whoever loses this next stock, it's going to be gigantic. Recovery into the air. Stingray looking for a response, can't spot dodge down, has to throw the weapon, but does pick it back up again.
Oh, but the way that Impala's playing, I know they're taking quite a bit more damage. It seems like Stingray is able to find damage just a little bit better, a little bit easier here. But now Impala starting to recognize where they're at, does lose this stock, but they were being quite elusive, and I think that's been a huge factor here. That bow really giving them that much momentum and getting some easier punishes too because of how far it can reach. But now we see the spear come in the hand. We haven't seen a whole lot of this from Impala, at least this game, actually this set in general. Let's be real here.
Yeah, this spear makes me nervous. Well, maybe not so much anymore. Cider comes out, evens up the stocks again. But again, the bow, definitely the preferred factor for Impala right now. And when you're in Orion, you have that long distance, you have the spear, you have the lance. Again, we've talked about all weekend how important those setups can be for those slower weapons. But when you're not able to find that setups, especially with very little ground on Small Haven, it's so hard to find that impact.
Oh
that
my
being
God.
Said, though,
These hops just right over what Stingray's throwing out here and getting nice punishes. The juggles are definitely huge. But Stingray now on the offensive here. Impala in a very terrifying position, but finds a way to get the offensive back in their favor. Keg, what's going to happen at the end here? This could be anybody's game right now.
I don't know. Stingray goes back into the air, and Impala's looking like a piranha in the water for any sort of flesh that goes down. Red to red. Keep in mind the defense for Kaya so much higher than Orion. Oh, even unarmed can be devastating against Stingray. Down 2 rounds. Looking for that setup once again. The lance underway, but now the spear. Impala needs to find that bow.
Oh! They threw that stick out the wrong way. If they had it in the right direction, it would have been all right. Okay, barely living here. You have one last shot. You're not living anything else here. Impala, you got to find a way to make this count. I like that hit. Oh, misses it there, but gets the recovery and finally getting the set that they've worked so hard for and punching their ticket in the top 8.
My God, that was wonderful. Easily, probably the best match we've seen today, at least on our blocks of the stream. I mean, unbelievable. No real advantage or disadvantage long-term for either one of these players, but it's a huge redemption from Impala. Again, the last time they were able to win a single game, not even a set, a single game off Stingray was back in 2020's BCX. You gotta give it to Impala. 2 years of prep, work, and straight dedication of the Kaya pick really goes to show that Impala deserves this.
Absolutely right, and a strong 3-0 to make that happen. Look at how close this game was. 8 points of damage being the difference here. That's just so insane to think about. And we see how dominant they were with the bow the entire time, right? But when they had that spear, they were able to close out a stock. I think maybe 2, definitely 1 for sure. And you're able to make it work for them, even though they felt so much more comfortable on the bow. But look, this is just such a tough match. I know we like to joke about, 3-0, but it was close though. But it was really, really close.
Honestly, again, if you go back from the future and look at this match, you will see that 3-0 and think, oh, this should have been a stop, right? But it wasn't. Each and every single one of these games came down to the wire. Literally frame perfect. I mean, look, that final matchup we had seen, the end of 3-0, was down to 2 missed inputs. Stingray missing 1, and it was Impala that was able to capitalize, even after missing the end stick off the spear, was able to find a rogue recovery and just send Stingray away to the blast zone.
Man, what a game to get started here, too. I mean, I wish we could have gone the